Hello, everybody. This is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live. Two editions today. Beginning right now, one edition, and at 7 o'clock, another edition right now. Beginning of the show will be John Freeman Nelson, OSG Sports, with a CFL Week 11 preview that begins tonight and a little NFL talk. Then our guys at Inside the Game have their Inside the Game show, The Renaissance Mama with Courtney Riddell, and we'll close out this portion, the first portion of the show, with Gerald and Gerald Bentley. He'll have his show Wrestling with Sales, and he interviews Mojo Rawley. Yes, all right now at the 3 p.m. hour. Then at 7 p.m., we'll begin the show with the great coach Carmen Asako previewing the finals of the Women's World Cup on Sunday between Spain and England. And then we will have former NFL and CFL player Antoine Sanders with another edition of Athletic Intelligence. Drew Ebanks and Alex Campbell with Ballin talking NBA, CBL, the Raptors. Also, again, Inside the Game gives us a sneak peek to NHL 24. And then Giancarlo Lino and I close out part 2 of tonight's flagship show, Fired Up Live, with the wrestling show / UFC on Guard show, where we talk WWE, SmackDown, Impact Wrestling, NWA, AEW, All In, Dynamite, and preview UFC 292. All right, so that's what you can expect. 3 o'clock till about 5, and then 7 o'clock till about 9:30 tonight here on the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live. And again, we're going to begin the show with John Nelson here on CFL No Yards, Week 11 preview of CFL No Yards. John Nelson to follow. Joseph Hasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live. Two editions today. Here early in the afternoon, we got the Hall of Famer John Freeman Nelson of OSG Sports as we preview Week 11.
Week 11.
There we go. Of the Canadian Football League on CFL No Yards. Here we go. A lot of things happening in Edmonton. Yeah. They don't win. Yeah. 0-9. Yeah. They start off tonight, 7:30 in Hamilton. Hamilton needs this win. They're 3-5. Edmonton 0-9. Do you think Edmonton and wait, I gotta say this. Edmonton was leading by like 20 points last week and blew the game to Winnipeg.
They did, 22. And we were keeping an eye on that one down here as a part of it all. And you now have changes in the front office. And I don't know if you get a front office bump. I've never really heard of one of those before. But going into the juice boxes, Hamilton's a minus 233 in the composite. And Double E's at a plus 174. I've got to go with Hamilton in this one. I think that they're going to get it done. It's probably going to be a lot closer than a lot of folks may think, especially with what we saw early from Edmonton last week. But I think by the time we're done, I think Hamilton gets the Duke.
I agree. Now, another game that should be good here. It's tomorrow at 9 p.m. Winnipeg goes into Calgary. Calgary's record 3-6, but they're better than a 3-6 team. Winnipeg 7-2.
I know a lot of it is probably pinned into whether or not Zach Collaros is going to be available. Drew Brown last week went 17-24 for 3-4. I think that if it's Zach Collaros, if it's Drew Brown, get it done over the Stamps. I think Winnipeg gets it done at McMahon. Looking at the juice boxes in this one, minus 250 in the Stamp champs are a plus 185, so that falls in line.
Saturday, 7 p.m., another good game. Montreal, Ottawa, tough luck. Montreal coming back. They're the second place in the East, 5-3.
And right as you and I are talking, Montreal's a minus 147, and Ottawa is a plus 16. Dustin Crum last week had 292.3 and no interceptions. Ottawa have been close, and Montreal's won their last 3. Last week they did Cody Fajardo and William Stanback. I think the Owls get it done over Ottawa at TD Place.
I agree there. All right, and the last game of the weekend, Sunday, 7 p.m., probably best game of the week, BC, Saskatchewan.
I think BC gets it done here looking at the numbers. BC's a huge favorite in the juice boxes at a minus 455. Green Riders are a plus 316. But remember also, BC beat Calgary. Vernon Adams Jr. comes back from injury. Lions defense holds Calgary to just 3 field goals. So I've got to go with BC in this. Saskatchewan, they dropped 4 of their last 5, and they've also had the injury problems at quarterback. Who's going to be at quarterback? Has been able to do coming in to be a part of the discussion for the Green Riders, but I think they're a minus 123. I think they get it done. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game just because of all of the starters that might be in there for a quarter or so. So if you're really looking for something, go for a total. But I think the Bills are favored. Pittsburgh traditionally really hasn't had a whole lot of offense the last couple of seasons, and they've had chaos at the quarterback position. So I'll go with the Bills here in a game that means absolutely nothing.
So there's two other things in the AFC that I want to touch on that happened this week. First of all, New England getting Ezekiel Elliott and Cook going to the Jets. The Jets have an all-star team. It looks like it should be called the New York Mets. And look what happened to them.
You don't want to even.
No, I want that because it's good for Buffalo. I want that. But what do you think of those two signings?
Oh, I think that Dalvin Cook is going to be really helpful for the offense with the Jets at the Meadowlands, New Jersey Jets. I think that anything to help out Aaron Rodgers offensively is going to distract from any of the other issues that they have on the other side of the ball. Ezekiel Elliott, we've seen it before in running backs that have gone from being stars at one franchise to going to New England. We saw it in the past with a guy like Corey Dillon, where Dillon was a fantastic running back at Cincinnati. But the question was, when you go to New England, you're going to do it one way, and that's the Bill Belichick way. And if you don't do it that way, your visit is going to be very, very short-lived. And so it's going to be with Ezekiel Elliott and Stevenson. It'd be an interesting 1-2 punch, and that'll also give Mac Jones some leeway when it comes to all of his offensive weapons. So change your pace with Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott. That will help out Mac Jones. I think that these two running back pickups should help out the teams that they're going to. But, how long does it take for these two guys to get to full song and really be integrated into these offenses? I think that's the biggest question for me.
All right, and John will be back here tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. 11:30 a.m. on the world-famous soccer show with myself, Giancarlo Lino, and the coach, Carmen Asacco. We're going to talk about who's going to be the new women's national team coach. All right, we're going to talk about Messi scoring 64 goals in 12 games.
Yeah, really?
Right? and we're going to talk about, and I'm going to be very fired up because it's about time, and you could speak about this, but it's about time that Carmen Asaco's phone rings when there's a job opportunity. And we're also going to talk about Herdman taking maybe the TFC job, but he's the Canadian national team with 3 years left in the World Cup. Never mind. All right. So, John, tell us how to get a hold of you.
Easiest way is on the Twitters right
Hold
there.
on, John. Hold on.
Oh, that's part of it. You can do your thing. You do that while I'm talking about this.
Okay.
At OSG Nelson on the Twitters and Cute Sports Guy on Threads and the Gram or the IG or whatever the kids say these days. Don't forget to download the Soccer Down Here app available iOS and Android. OSG Sports app available iOS and Android. Looking for a good book right there. Book 6, Noble Strong Lessons in Destiny. It's the high school football season here in the United States. You're looking for a good story about a great family and a fantastic community right there, Noble Strong. Amazon search either Noble Strong or John Nelson, and you can pick it up either way.
All right, that's the Hall of Famer, John Freeman Nelson of OSG Sports, with his bets, juice boxes, whatever you want to call it, on CFL this week, week 11, and he'll be back here tomorrow for the soccer show. Thanks a lot, John.
Be well, my friend.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Mosley, that's Scott Savage, and you can join us at InsideTheGame.ca, YouTube at Inside the Game Official, podcast services, thanks to our friends at FiredUp Network, all 212 platforms, and of course, those beautiful TV streaming platforms around the globe. Talking about Amazon Prime, Samsung Plus, Jinx Esports TV, ESTV, and a whole lot more. Scott, we got a whole lot to talk about today. What do you have on the show?
That's right, Starfield has gone gold. Woo! Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 leaks just ahead of the actual official reveal. PlayStation Plus adds classic games, and Hyena's gameplay teaser has us talking.
Oh man, lots to talk about. So, let's start talking. Scott, at this point, dude, it is only weeks away. Starfield has finally gone gold, and preloads start today on Xbox. Bethesda's sci-fi RPG will be released in September following a couple of delays. Tom Ivan over at VGC. Bethesda has announced that Starfield has gone gold ahead of its release next month. This indicates that the main development of the game has been completed and that it's ready to move to the manufacturing stage. It's getting ready, Scott. We are like so close. So close to getting onto. Do you think this is Xbox's biggest game? Obviously the most important game of the year, coming up from Redfall and the downslide and failure of that title. There's a lot riding on Bethesda right now with Starfield. Is it the biggest game for Xbox around? Does it outdo Halo?
I think that's the big elephant in the room as well. Halo's not the great it once was, although it is a lot better, I have to admit. I was playing it a little bit recently, and it's not what it was at launch, but it's still, it's kind of tarnished the 100% quality guarantee that Xbox liked to advertise. So I think Starfield stands to be either, I don't want to say a nail in the coffin because that's being way too dramatic, but it could either be a real blemish or a real magnum opus, and I'm hoping for the latter.
Absolutely. Let's continue on with Tom's article. We'll get back to discussing a bit more, as Bethesda has also confirmed that players will be able to preload the game on Xbox Series X and S starting today on August 17th and on Steam on August 30th.
Oh.
What? That's weird. Starfield was originally scheduled to be released last November, but in May of 2022, the game was delayed for the first half of 2023. Bethesda announced a further delay this March, with Starfield now set to release on September 6, 2023. Several editions of Starfield will be available, of course. The $70 standard version, which includes the base game, will also be available via Xbox Game Pass for console and PC. Don't forget, though, if you want the digital premium and the $300 Constellation Edition, well, that's available too, Scott.
Yeah, that's a big one, but this does stand to be the largest release of the year. Maybe. We'll see if Insomniac has anything to do with that.
Well, yeah, with Spider-Man 2 just coming up around the corner, like we've been talking about it now leading up as we kind of get to the last half of the year, and things have only been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Some haven't all hit, right? We just reviewed Atlas Fallen, and it was kind of met with mixed reactions. It's not game of the year discussion, unfortunately, but it's a solid game. But then you get into Bethesda's other title, we talked about with Redfall, and the unfortunate circumstances of that game and where that studio with them and Arcane had taken that game just didn't really click with anybody. So when it comes to taking a look now at Xbox, what do they have this year? They have Forza. Forza's coming, right? It's just around the corner. Forza Motorsport is just around the corner this year. But that's a staple that just seems to hit. Turn 10 does it every time, and it's just another great game if you're into that sim racing. Forza Motorsport. And what else Xbox has on the table, it's Starfield, right? Like a lot is riding on. Now that it's gone gold, you can then preload it starting today, except if you're on Steam.
Yeah, I wonder if that has something, the Steam's process, their onboarding process must have something to do with that.
Yeah, so we haven't received codes yet. Nobody else has in the industry either, which then begs us to differ. Either A, Bethesda's real confident in what they have, and we're going to get it on day one. When you preload, if you pre-order the game, you actually get it 5 days early and have access to the game on September 1st. Not on the official release date, on September 6th. Does that mean the rest of the media jumps in the same day as everybody else? Or the other scenario, which we've seen in the past as well from the media side, is that you don't get the game until launch because the game is just bad, and the devs don't want you to be talking about how bad the game is because they want it to sell. I think, Scott, this is the other way around. We still have time to get codes, like that's still possible. There's no way of actually knowing until they arrive in my inbox, and then we're all set ready to go, and everybody else around the media. But at the same time, it does kind of bring up a bit of a worrisome when you're in our side of the industry going, not only us, but other outlets I know of and speak with have yet to see their codes arrive too. So how does that really look? Now that it's gone gold, like they're ready, dude. Ship the game and let us get our hands on it. I know I'm just excited as everybody else. I can't wait to be there either. I'm curious as to when we're gonna get them, if we get them, or are we there with like everybody else and they go like, you know what, this is gonna be a solid game. It's like, here's God of War. We had God of War early. Horizon, I'll be behind the scenes, dude. We had that game for a month before it even released, right?
Even Elden Ring way. Even if we weren't to get a code, I would like to see other outlets. Maybe you can't broadcast that you have a code. Maybe that's a rule I'm not so familiar with, but I've seen a lot of speculation online. Did this person get it? Are these hints? People are really going behind the scenes to try and dig any sort of little scrap, but that's because it's so worrisome, like you say. I think in this case it is a solid put together package, and I'm gonna remain hopeful until I see otherwise.
No, absolutely, right? We can only hope and dream. Now with the power of the support of Xbox, we can get past, we talked about just the other day, the Bethesda jank, right? And we're just so used to it, but yet it's so old and so not necessary.
I'm wondering if that has something to do with this, because the first reaction might be, oh, it's Bethesda junk, and then that's
Yeah.
That's not what you want to do in a marketing sense.
Not at all. No. You want to be able to push and say, hey, this is a solid game. Dude, I guarantee day one patch, right? Like, it's just,
Oh, yeah.
here's the game. Now download the patch and away you go. I can't wait to get into it. I know everybody else can't wait to get into it. There's a lot to unpack within this game. We're going to be playing this for not only the month of September, but dude, I bet you this leads us right into the Christmas holidays and beyond.
I hope I have years of play out of this game, just like I have with Fallout games. I still return to them sometimes, and
Yep.
I hope this is no different. The download being available, I'm going to have to start it, and, well, my internet's not very good. Maybe I'll be ready
Maybe you'll be ready by September 1st.
by launch.
Dude, I can't wait. I'm going to jump into it. We'll get things preloaded and pre-ready to go and be all set for when the day comes. But yeah, so right now, Xbox players, get ready. You can preload the game, and everybody else on Steam, you got to wait till the 30th. Scott, topic number 2 is coming up on today's show as well with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the first Modern Warfare to have zombies, includes classic Modern Warfare 2 maps, and a whole lot more. Wesley Yinpool over at IGN had this to say. Call of Duty fans are unearthing new information on Modern Warfare 3 via secret mobile number confirming zombies mode and a remake of the classic Modern Warfare 2 maps. Interesting how this works. This is funny. I like this how somebody unpacked this little Easter egg. Scott, this is how it goes down. Call of Duty YouTuber Mr. Delek JD tweeted to show how texting the word zombie to the number spotted in the Modern Warfare 3 reveal trailer sparks a reply with the zombie emoji and a link to a zombie audio file hosted by Activision's website. Breaking. Hashtag MW3 Zombies is officially confirmed. Texting the unknown caller Zombies gives you a link to a secret sound file on Activision's website. Modern Warfare 3 is the first Modern Warfare game to include zombie mode, as until now, developer Infinity Ward has focused on Spec Ops mode for PvE, leaving Zombies to Treyarch Black Ops sub-brand. Scott, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it is strange to see that in the Modern Warfare setting, but I think that's, well, really, why not? It's always a welcome addition for me. I love the zombies mode.
I think it's a welcome addition for fans in general, right? I think fans have been asking for it. Where is the zombies mode? Bring it back. And I wonder if that's one of the iterations, why they're bringing it back, because they've heard the feedback. And, this is great to hear, right? Because it is the feedback that lets us know that the developers are listening to the fans to say, hey, we hear you, we're going to bring this back. And it's no slouch of a mode either. These zombies, man, has been going around for a long time. And I'm curious, what are they going to change?
That's what draws the question. Yeah, what are they going to change this time around? Because it's kind of gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and the last 2 iterations of zombies, I think, were not very well received at all. So I'm sort of hoping that if this is a return to the old form, I hope the zombies get scaled down. It's a strange thing to say, but absolutely. I want the old classics.
Yeah, zombie fan.
The former was released for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and PSP. Flashback.
Yep.
In 2009, while the latter was released for Sony's handheld in the same year. It's assumed that the new ratings mean the games will be released as part of PlayStation Plus catalogs, or Classics catalog rather. This library of games, which includes hundreds of titles from the original PlayStation, PS2, PS3, and PSP, is available to PlayStation Plus Premium subscribers. Tekken 8 was announced last year and is currently in development for PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. The game's character roster appears to have been potentially leaked via a closed network test last month. Lots of leaks coming from Bandai Namco.
Oh yeah.
2018's Soul Calibur 6 was the last entry in the series. Love it. And Bandai Namco hasn't revealed plans for a potential successor. Its predecessor was delisted from digital stores in June. Yeah, there's too much delisting going on. That's a aside for another day. August's PlayStation Plus gaming catalog and classic titles were made available to subscribers on Tuesday. This month's new releases include Lost Judgment, Sea of Stars, Cursed to Gulf, and Moving Out 2. August's additions to the classic catalog were Medieval Resurrection, Ape Escape on the Loose, there's a fun game, and Pursuit Force Extreme Justice. So to see a Soul Calibur game be pulled out of the ether and brought into the PlayStation catalog, I'm a fan. I don't know what this means for greater Soul Calibur. I can only hope it's to inspire some sort of fan reaction, and hopefully somebody's listening at Bandai Namco, because I really, really want new Soul Calibur.
Yeah, it really comes off the heels of like game preservation, right? I think that's kind of where this lies. I think it's a nice touch. I'll be honest, I have the top tier for PlayStation Plus. I'm not gonna play it. Like, that's just, how many people are actually gonna go in and play this thing is my question. Does this, like you say though, line up for another Soul Calibur? Scott, when's the last time we saw Soul Calibur?
I don't remember when it was actually released, but Soul Calibur 6, it must be at least 2 years old now. I want to say 3.
Oh, man. I was gonna say older than that, right? I want to say it's closer to 3, but you never know. Time flies around here. You just can't keep up. Tekken 6, though, man, we got Tekken 8 on the horizon here. Probably no official release date on Tekken 8, but I'm thinking early next year, maybe. Right now, I don't think Tekken wants to jump into the ring with Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. Like, just move out the way, right? Like, you don't want to fight with those. That was not intended. You don't want to go up against those two juggernauts right now. Where I feel Street Fighter, the conversation right now in the fighting genre for the industry really is focused on Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. And then you get into some of these lesser knowns, but there's a bunch of them, right? When you go to EVO, that's one of the best fighting tournaments around, where they have a wide variety of games. Tekken is there. Dude, I'm an old school Tekken, like Tekken 2 back in the day. Tekken Tag was there. Like, I was in. I was in heavy for Tekken, and I had a great time on my PS2 playing that. Man, PS2. Whew.
PS2.
Wow.
I had the GameCube and Soul Calibur 2, and that's where I fell in love with the series. It just grew from there.
It's awesome, right? To see that lineage then carried over, I like to see it. It is nice to have it here. If you do have that nostalgia, just jump back in, hang out for a little bit, have a little couch co-op battle, and then probably bounce out and wait for the next one. Tekken 8, I don't know, man, if I'm going to jump into that. I'm so heavily invested now in the world of Mortal Kombat. I've followed Mortal Kombat from day one, and now with Mortal Kombat 1, literally 1, starting all over again, like, that's my fighting game today. And that's what I'm looking forward to. But again, game preservation is always nice. I think that's important. It's nice to know our history and where it came from. And we're starting to see a lot of them, like Ubisoft's shutting down servers here or there. We talk on it once in a while as things kind of pop up. What happens then to that IP? What happens to that game? People will never... This is why you get collectors, right? Where they go in and they buy discs, because they know we'll just never have this again. Everything going digital has its weaknesses, and sometimes it leans over to something along this line.
It's something that is strange, because even I think back, you can't get Warcraft 2 right now.
Yeah, right?
It's just gone. So if you really want these things, Soul Calibur being delisted, if you really want these things, you do have to put out the money and get them.
Absolutely. So here it is. Let us know over on Twitter. Anybody going to try these games out? The official ITG. Scott, Hyena gets a new gameplay trailer ahead of a closed beta. Tanner Deadman over at comicbook.com, the new extraction shooter Hyenas from Creative Assembly, and Sega is getting a closed beta soon. Dude, I can't help it. Every time I see Sega, it's old school, man. It's the way it goes. Beta as soon, as well as hands-on opportunity for those who are planning on attending Gamescom. But for those who won't be something a bit sooner, you're in luck. The creators of Hyenas put out a new gameplay trailer just yesterday to show off more of the game and its unique characters known themselves as hyenas. As for the game itself, Hyenas still does not yet have a set release date, but will at least be playable again soon enough. Creative Assembly's new gameplay trailer for Hyenas can be seen on our actual show right now. For reference, the game's been playable periodically in some early tests to gauge players' responses and for players to feel out how it stacks up against other extraction games like Escape from Tarkov and Marauders. Dude, I don't think it stands a chance against those.
Oh, I don't know if anybody can hold a candle to Tarkov. That's the be-all, end-all, I think.
Absolutely. So we've seen the trailer. Scott, you watched the trailer?
Yep. And it was... Well, first of all, I was a little disappointed to learn these are not actually hyenas fighting.
It's the animals.
Yeah, I've seen Animal Battle Royale. It could have been interesting, but no, you're not wrong though. And the speculation, will this stand next to these other similar extraction shooters? I was a big fan of Scavengers, and that is no longer online anymore. It did not live. And
no,
we talked about this a couple times off camera here, but Deceive Inc. comes up occasionally whenever this subgenre is, and that one just did not land with me at all. It was a complete miss, and I have fear that this might be the same.
Scott, September is getting here, which means there's going to be a ton of games, so you might want to get out ahead and get these ones. What do we have today?
Yeah, it is not a small day for releases, that is to be sure. There's Vampire Survivors finally on the Switch. I'm a big fan myself. There's Light Edge on PC, Book of Hours on PC, Chrome Wolf on PC and Switch. That one looks nice. There's Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew on PC, Xboxes, and PlayStation 5. And I think you liked that one a little bit.
A little bit. You should check out a review. I'll tell you all about it.
We have Red Dead Redemption again. This is on PlayStation 4 and Switch, and it is, set the internet on fire.
Sure did.
Quantum Recharged is on PC, PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, XS, and the Switch. And Shinobi Non Grata is on PlayStation 4, 5, Xboxes, and Switch. And that one looks interesting to me as well. It's a good day for releasing.
Sure does. Dude, there's a ton of games right there. Well, that'll wrap up ITG Daily, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll be back again tomorrow. This is the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. But until then, I'm Drew. That's Scott.
We'll see you inside the game.
Hi, friends. I'm Courtney. I'm a performer, speaker, and a writer. I'm a mama to 3 crazy boys and a super sweet dog. I decided 12 years ago that I needed to create a business that worked for me instead of me working for it. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur who may be considered a serial entrepreneur by some. Then I realized that all of my businesses focused on connection, community, and creating an incredible experience. I cannot wait to share with you how to make small but mighty changes in your life to affect your overall well-being and create a life and business you want to get up in the morning for. That's right, my friends. I am the Renaissance Mama.
Hi, friends. It's Courtney, the Renaissance Mama. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time today to check out my show. Maybe you are listening to the podcast. Maybe you're watching the video show on FiredUp Network. But I am just so happy that you are here and enjoying the show. So it's been no secret that as of lately, I have definitely been in a bit of a slower season with my business, which is fine. It's good, actually. It's normal. If you were busy all the time, I don't think I could manage. So I knew this is kind of my slower season. I've been doing some other things. I've been hanging out with the kids. I've been really enjoying myself. I've been taking care of myself. But as an entrepreneur and as somebody who's like go all of the time, I have been, just getting to that point that I know I want to make some big things happen in my business. And I am excited and I'm ready and I'm almost there. Not quite, but I can feel it. Like I can feel it in my body that I'm like, all right, something's going to happen really big, really soon. And I'm ready for it. I'm excited for it. I know it's going to be a lot of work, but I'm also just like, I can't wait for it to happen. So I'm in this part of my business and I know this like big work time is going to come up, but I also know I've been through this bit of a slower season. So before I just hop into that very busy, wonderful work season that's coming up, like big goals, big dreams, making it all happen, I am going to give myself a little bit of a runway. So maybe in your business, you are ready to launch a new product or a new service. Maybe you are having a little side hustle and you want to go even bigger. Maybe you're trying to grow it so you can leave your 9-to-5 job. Maybe you have a business that has just been sort of plateauing for a little while and you want to do a little bit something more, right? You want that momentum. That is what we're chatting about today. We are chatting about some of my best strategies that's going to give your business a boost today. So if any of those things sound like you, where you're at, or maybe your business is going so amazing, but you're like, I want more, these strategies will help you as well. So that is what we're chatting about today. I'm so excited. They're simple strategies. They're sometimes just reminders because I know you guys, you are amazing business owners and you're doing it all. And sometimes we all just need that a little reminder of oh yeah, I could do this. And that could get the momentum going. I know for me, when I do have that kind of slower season, I try my very best to keep the momentum going, but let's be honest, there's gonna be times that I'm not as consistent as I want to be. There's gonna be times that maybe I'm sharing social media content out there that may not totally align with my goals or my objectives, or maybe I'm not doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing all of the time. That is when I know it's time to do the strategies we're going to talk about today. It's time to get the momentum going again. And once that momentum gets going, I can feel it in my business. That's when I know when big things are going to happen. I know when opportunities are just going to arise because I have my head in the game. So we're chatting about ways you can boost your business today, how you're going to get that momentum going and when you're ready to do it. I will say, before you try any of these strategies, you can pick and choose what resonates with you. You might not love all of them. You might not like any of them. I don't know. You might like one or two things. That is fine. I will give you a pre-warning is all of these strategies I'm going to give you today, they're going to take some time. They're going to take some time. They're going to take some focus. You have to be really intentional with them. But sometimes that's the season of life and business that we're in. So for me, I have to get really ready in my mindset of all right, I am going to do this. I share it with everybody, all my close people. I share it with my networking people. I share it with fellow business owners, I share it with a lot of people because I want people to hold me to it. So number one, I let everybody know. Number two, I get ready for that mindset change of knowing, okay, I'm gonna put the work in, I'm gonna put some time in, I'm gonna put some effort in, but I also know it's going to be really rewarding. The last thing you may need, and you don't have to, but if you're able to put some money into a few of these strategies, it will be really beneficial in the long run. So get ready with your mindset of how we are going to boost your business, some simple strategies to help boost that business today. Okay, strategy number one to boost your business today is to create a new freebie. So when I'm talking a freebie, I'm talking something that you are sharing with your ideal audience. Hopefully you are sharing whatever it is, and in return, you're receiving an email address, right? We want to start building our email list. We want to share something that's very valuable for your freebie. It could also be something, if you call it a lead generation, some people call it that as well, but you're just thinking of something that you could offer your ideal audience that, number one, will be simple. Number two, will get them a quick win. And number three, will get them to learn a little bit more about who you are and really start building that know, like, and trust factor. So number one, what kind of things could be a freebie? I will say when I first started creating these freebies, I would get so stuck. I had no idea what to offer. I had no idea what was going to align with my business. I had no idea what my ideal customers wanted. I would just get so paralyzed because I didn't know what to do that I would do nothing. So my first suggestion would be, think of all the different things you could do. You don't have to do all of them. You really want to pick just one. But some really great freebies that don't take too much of your time could be a checklist. A great idea of something you might already have. So maybe there's a how-to checklist about something that has to do with your business. Maybe you're giving somebody a guide. So it could be a PDF guide of, could be absolutely anything. This is what I love about freebies. It really could be anything. And if you find yourself kind of where I was looking around for freebies and ideas, and I was like, nobody really does what I do. When I was talking about like the kids, musical theater, like what am I gonna give them a freebie? Like, I don't even know, a checklist, a list of possible audition songs? Actually, that's not a terrible one. But you have to brainstorm first. So checklist is a great one. A guide or a PDF can be a really fun one. Another one, if you love being on video, maybe you could do a special little video just for them. You can do a special podcast or voice recording just for them. You can do a challenge if you are up for it. Challenges usually take a little bit more time, a little bit more effort, and a little bit more commitment, not only for you, but also for your ideal customer. So think about them as well, right? When you send out a thing for a challenge, now people have to like kind of do multiple steps. So that's why I say I like to keep it simple. And then another really popular and very common freebie could be a workshop or a webinar or something like that. And you can do that live, you can have it pre-recorded. But once again, when you're doing a workshop or webinar as your freebie, even if it's something that's like absolutely amazing and people want, you have to remember that now you've asked somebody to do that extra step, right? So now not only do they have to like put in their email, agree to go to the webinar, they might get a reminder. Well, we all know by the time they get to the webinar, they may or may not show up. So once again, keeping those freebies as simple as you possibly can. It used to be that people would, after 6 to 7 touches, so maybe they saw a social media contact, maybe they got an email from you, maybe they read a blog about you, then they could potentially purchase from you. But in our society nowadays, it's like 30 touch points before somebody actually has built that know, like, and trust factor and wants to buy from you. So that's why the freebie is a great way to just really bring them into your world, get a little bit of who you are, what you do, and you are providing them value. The other thing you want to think about when you're giving the freebie is you want them to have a quick win. So whatever you are providing them, whatever this freebie is, you want them to, number one, like, be so excited to have it, right? We all see those pop-ups, or we all get emails. We all see these things that are like, if you want this, give me your email address. And how many times have you given your email address and you're like, why did I even sign up for this? Like, what is going on? So you want to make sure whatever you're providing them. So let's go back to that. What if we give them that guide, that PDF guide of something really valuable? You want to make sure if they read that guide, they are going to do one of the things in the guide that you told them to do, and they are going to be successful with it. Because once they do that, they're going to be like, oh my goodness, what else does this person have? What else do they have to offer? So for myself, one of the things I am going to be working on, and I'm really pumped about this, is I am making a video that could be shared for kids, could be shared for adults, could be shared for everyone, but it's going to be a vocal warm-up. And I've decided I'm going to offer two. I'm going to offer one that is like a vocal warm-up for people who are singers, or maybe they want to become a singer, or they love musical theater. So it'll be like an actual vocal warm-up video that they can follow through. But I'm also doing sort of an actor's vocal warm-up. So this could be great for kids that are doing auditions, but it also could be great for adults who may have a presentation that's really important that they need to, you know, warm up their vocal cords for. Maybe it's for somebody who's creating a video that needs that extra little bit of like actor warm-up, exercise to work out, and then they are ready to do whatever they do. But that's my idea. I'm doing some videos only because I love making videos, obviously. But whatever your freebie is, you just want to make it simple. You want to make it something that they're going to love and that they're going to get a quick win from. And you want to be able to get their email address for that freebie. So making a freebie is a great way to boost your business and start building that momentum. Okay, second strategy to get that boost in your business, get that momentum going, is I want you to connect with all of your past customers. All right, let's be honest, our customers are the most important things about our business, right? Especially ones who have already given you money. That says so much. So maybe you're not great at keeping up with the emails, right? Maybe you reach out to your past customers once in a while, but you got to remember that touch point, right? So it's no longer 6 or 7, it's 30. One of the things I really had to get over and I struggled with for a long time is I felt like as a business owner, when I was sending out emails or like reminding people about offers or sharing even social content sometimes, I felt like I was bothering people. I felt like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm sending another email. Oh my goodness. But number one, I figure I get a lot of emails all the time, right? And what? You either read it or you don't. You delete it. It's fine. I also feel like it is the way our society communicates, right? It's almost the opposite now. I feel like I'm no longer being rude if I'm sending you an email to remind you about something. I'm giving you value. So maybe you contact all those past customers and just either check in to reconnect with them. Say, how are you doing? You know, I was just thinking about you the other day. Maybe you're contacting them so you can share that new freebie you just had, right? Not only is it wonderful to provide that value to your past customers, but they will also be the people that will share who you are and what you do with other people. Word of mouth is still probably the best way to get any new customers, because it can be word of mouth of like, they share some social content, they share your freebie, they talk to a friend about like, oh my gosh, I just got this new, PDF guide that's so awesome, and I've bought something from this business before, they're so great. So chatting with those past customers is just a really great way to build that momentum again, to boost your business, to get people chatting about who you are and what you do. Another way, if you're reaching out to your past customers, you could reach out to them for a referral, or maybe you can send them a short survey. Then you're telling them, hey, listen, I value you and I value your opinion. So let's chat back and forth. Not only is it so nice for them to hear from you, but it's nice for you to get that information. It's nice for them to know you're thinking about them. So there's so many different ways to reconnect with those past customers, but it is a great way to give that boost and momentum in your business. So the third thing you can do to start getting that momentum going in your business or give your business a boost, it is to create a bonus with maybe a product you already have. Maybe it's an offer or a service you already provide. So this is not creating a new product or a new offer or anything like that, but it's creating some sort of bonus that they could potentially get for a limited amount of time if they purchase now. So this is a great tool when you are looking for sort of a quick cash infusion in your business. Or when I talked earlier about that business that just might be like, meh, having a bit of a plateau, this is a way that you can give them something extra with really not much extra charge to you. This also is a great way to, once again, show your people how much you care about them and show how you want to provide them with this amazing content or this amazing bonus. The bonus could be something that's similar to your freebie, but you want it to be different. I would go with the same concepts of the freebie as you want it simple. You want something that they are going to really appreciate. So you might not necessarily need a quick win like the freebie, but ideally the bonus is like the icing on the cake. So if you're buying some sort of service from someone and the service should be able to stand alone, obviously your product is amazing. Whatever you do, I'm sure it's incredible. That's the product, but the bonus is just that like little extra. You don't have to have the bonus, but the bonus is really, really amazing. So for myself, and I'm really just making this up on the spot, but potentially if I'm trying to sell my digital course all about musical theater and I have my freebie that's going to be this really great vocal warm-up and the actors warm-ups, I have 2 different freebies. Well, maybe the bonus for my digital course could be really fun resources. Like maybe it is that audition list I talked about before. Man, I'm going to be busy creating all of this stuff, right? I told you before, this is not stuff that you can whip together really quickly. You want to be really intentional with it. The other thing, when you're thinking about bonuses or you're thinking about freebies, it's always really, really good to go back to the drawing board and think about your ideal customer, right? We always want to think about what they want, what they need, what they're like really upset about. And then you want to give them what they need to get to why they need to buy your product or your service, right? And those freebies and those bonuses are all just like extra things, but it really shows people that you care. And we've all been there before when we're like, ooh, do I want to buy something? Well, if you buy it today, you get this bonus, right? It seems so much more exciting, so much more inviting. The other really great thing about bonuses for business owners is that you don't have to offer a sale. So instead of taking, 20% off or 30% off or whatever it is, you still retain that whole amount for your product or service, but you're just giving them bonus on top of that. So Once again, bonus, keep it simple, keep it, just icing on the cake, a little something fun. You definitely want it to complement whatever product or service you are providing or offering. You don't want the bonus to come like totally out of left field, because then it's not going to look as appealing. But if it's something that really complements, what you've already offered and what they want to buy from you, a bonus is a really fun way to just give that little extra incentive, and a great way to boost your business. All right, so the fourth strategy to give your business that boost today, and this is the one that might cost you a little bit of money. Okay, it's not gonna cost you tons. You get to decide what you're comfortable with, but it's something I have just recently magical answer, and no, it's not. But the kind of ads I want you to start thinking about putting some money into is visibility ads. If you don't know what this is, that's totally fine. I will share with you. So visibility ads is literally an ad. It could be a video, it could be an audio, it could just be an image. I love video because, once again, that's my favorite thing to do, but it is providing somebody some sort of value, some sort of content for free. And they don't even have to give you their email. They don't have to give you any information. They are just like taking in this content and learning who you are. So I will say, for me, this was a huge kind of eye-opener. I had been spending money on ads previously, and I was usually doing it to, promote an offer. But I wouldn't see any sales from all those ads. And then I started using some paid ads for that freebie I talked about earlier, to get people to my freebie. And I got some traction there, but still not tons. And I'm kind of thinking like, wow, well, this is silly. Like, what am I doing wrong with these ads? And what I realized what was happening is that people didn't know who I was yet, right? They weren't sure. They didn't have that trust factor. They were just receiving this ad of like, buy this, sign up for this, buy that, do that. And we've all been there. We've done that. So now we're going back to that idea of people needing those 30 touch points before they buy. So maybe they need 5 to 10 touch points before they even give you their email address. Because let's be honest, we are so bombarded all the time by a million ads. Like, you cannot be on your phone without so many ads all the time. I always joke that my husband is the ultimate guy on Facebook that an ad pops up and he buys it. They must make millions from him, because they're like, oh, that guy, here he goes. Whereas me, I'm able to swipe on by. But he is the kind of personality that it pops on up and he's like, yep. I'm like, really? But a visibility ad is really just getting yourself out there. I would highly suggest, when you're making this content for your visibility ad. So once again, we're making content, so we're gonna have to take a little time to figure out what kind of content we're gonna provide. We want to provide something short and simple. Short, simple, and providing value. So it might not necessarily be like that freebie that your person's going to do something and get a win and be really excited, but you still want to provide some sort of value. So maybe in your video, you are giving them a quick how to do something. Maybe in your video, you're even just showing a behind the scenes of how you make something. Maybe in your quick little video, you are, I don't know, there are so many ideas out there, but you definitely need to take your time and create those visibility ads of really just providing that really valuable short piece of content, so that the next time this person, your ideal customer, sees your video and they see a freebie, they're gonna oh, I remember this business. That's the person who did this. Oh, I remember this girl. That's the how-to I saw the other day on, I don't know, makeup removal or makeup application, whatever it could be, right? So you're just really sort of planting those seeds. You're getting your name out there. You're slowly building your brand. The other thing I love about visibility ads is that you can make the cost of these ads really low. You do not have to spend hundreds and thousands of dollars. You can literally make them like $2 to $5, maybe $10 a day if you want to be super keen, but you can keep them low and you can just keep them ongoing, right? The next thing I love about visibility ads, and this one is so big, this is actually probably what really changed my mind. Okay, I'm so excited about this. So what's so cool about these visibility ads is that when you make a piece of content, so if I made that video, let's say about how to do my makeup, I would make it short and simple because I know my people are probably swiping it through. I know my ideal audience. They're very busy moms. They don't have a lot of time. But you also just want it like so exciting. You want them to like see you and watch it and enjoy that content. My favorite part about the visibility ads is that it makes that content live so much longer, right? Mind blown. Like, think about it. If you were making a content, making a little video for Instagram, I'm making a reel. Let's say I made that same reel about putting on your makeup. Okay, some people may see it, but within 24 hours, most likely no one else is seeing it. If you are paying for visibility ads, you could have that same single piece of content live for a month, maybe 2 months before you switch it up again and make a brand new visibility ad. That to me is a game changer. How many hours do entrepreneurs spend on making content? And how many times have you put content out there and like received nothing back, heard nothing from anybody, doesn't even know if anyone's even really looked at it, really not getting your bang for your buck? And even if you're putting it out there for free, which most of us are, it's still taking us time. It's taking us away from our business to post the social media content. So having visibility ads makes that content live so much longer. I will say if you are making any sort of video, beware, you want to keep it the shorter the better. One of my first ads, I was like, I want to share this. And I like stuffed it all into like 90 seconds, which you think is a short amount of time. But you gotta remember, everyone's so used to watching like 15-second clips, sometimes not even that, like 3 seconds, and they've switched their mind, right? So you want to make sure you know how your ideal customer is going to consume that content. If they're on the phone, if they're swiping, you want to keep it short, simple. Now looking back at it, instead of making the video of like 3 fun suggestions, I probably would have gone with 1. And then in the next visibility ad, I would have done the 2nd. And then the next visibility ad, I would have done the 3rd. So instead of 1 video crammed with all my information, I would have really spread out that content and kept those visibility ads going. The other thing I'm loving about visibility ads, which you don't really get on your social media content, like if I put out that reel, yeah, I can see who liked it. I can see around how many views. But that's it. I can't really go much after that, right? Like that's kind of where the road ends. Where if you're doing these paid ads, you can see how many people watched it all the way through. You can then retarget an ad and like take that group of people that watched even halfway through or 3/4 of the way through. And then now you're showing them other maybe visibility ads. Then eventually you're going to show them that freebie that you think they absolutely need to have. So there's so much more thought and there's so much more intention in the social media content. So like I said, it's going to cost you a bit of money, but in the long run, it is going to be so worth it Not only are you going to get time back from not making so much social media content and you don't know who's doing what and you're kind of like, oh my goodness, your content's going to live so much longer, but you also are getting really valuable information. And then you're also able to reconnect with those same people that have watched your content. Right? So now they kind of know who you are. You've started that conversation. You can start giving more of those touch points and really build that relationship. So visibility ads is definitely a way that's going to help you boost your business today. 5 way you can really business today is you want to connect with another business who has a similar audience as you do. So you can connect with them in so many different ways. You can maybe do a guest blog post for them. Maybe if they have a podcast, you can get on their podcast. Maybe you can even just ask to hop on their, Facebook group and do a quick little live, right? You don't want to give them the whole mega workshop that you've provided before, or freebie or whatever it is, but you want to once again give them that small, really valuable piece of content. Maybe you are sharing about your freebie, but the advantage of getting in front of somebody else's audience is, number one, if they have a similar audience as you do, it's obviously beneficial for both of you, right? But it's also, those people have already built that know, like, and trust factor with that other business. So it's almost like you're skipping ahead a little bit, right? When I talked about now you need like 30 touch points. When you are now looking at that audience already trusts that person. So those touch points may be a lot less. I also just love personally when small businesses or big businesses work together. Like, I think there is so much room in this world for businesses just to help each other out, to really just like care about their customers and what they need and what they not want and how to just serve them the best way you possibly can. So start researching some businesses that might have a similar audience to you and just put yourself out there, right? There's no harm. They could say no. They could be like, I don't think that's a good idea, but you never know. They might be like, this is amazing. And once again, you want to go with it with the idea of like, this is what I want to share with your audience. This is the value I would love to provide for them, right? You're not saying I want to take all your contents or I want those email addresses. No. You just want to share value with those people, right? So whatever it is that you're offering that you know they would love, you know they would benefit from, that is what you want to share with that other audience. And you could be prepared that some business owners might not be interested, right? They might not see the value in it yet, but starting those conversations and really just getting your name out there, chatting with other businesses and saying like, hey, how can I help you? Like, let's do this together. It's just beneficial for everybody. And it is a really great way to get that boost in your business. Number 6 way to really get that boost in your business, and I can't even believe this is number 6. I feel like maybe I should have put it as number 1, but you want to make sure you are providing an awesome experience for your ideal customer. So I would just go back to the drawing board and pretend you are your ideal customer. So we've talked about what your person wants, what they need, what really upsets them, all of the things to get them from A to B so they want to buy from you. Now let's just pretend we're one of those customers. So what is the first thing that happens in their experience? So maybe you start looking at your social content, right? And I'm not being judgy, trust me. I just told you I've been through a slower season. I'm enjoying family life. So my social content right now, it's just all about connections. I'm sharing what I'm doing. I'm sharing some motivation. I'm sharing, but I'm not being super intentional with it, right? So the experience I'm probably providing my ideal customer right now is me. It's not as fabulous as it could be. But what I want you to do is start going through kind of what the steps are for somebody, if they were brand spanking new, learning about you, what the experience looks like. So the first thing usually is that social media, because I've told you before, it's like the handshake, the hey, how you doing? Go through your social media and see, if I just came on your social media account, what am I getting from it? Who are you? What like themes am I getting? Am I liking you right away? Like, what are some of the things you really represent? That's kind of that first chunk of the experience. Then you're going to want to go to your website. And I've told you guys this before. To me, if that social media is like the handshake or hello, your website is your business card. And I will admit, I recently went to one of my websites, because you know me, I've got multiple. I got lots of projects on the go all the time. But I went to one of my websites and I was so embarrassed. It was not up to date. The links weren't really all working. It was a little bit chaotic and it wasn't simple. It was not simple. So what was happening is my people, my ideal people, that first of all, I've spent a lot of time and money and effort to get them to my website, right? We know that if they're seeing me on social or even a conversation or this or that, or a friend told them about whatever, that's a few steps before you're like, oh, let me find this person. They get on my website. Well, what experience was I providing? It was overwhelming. It wasn't straightforward. It wasn't clean. It wasn't simple. It was kind of confusing. And then I realized I was making people like go to this page for this and sign up for this, for that, and then do that, and da. So you really want to just think about that experience that your ideal customer is going to go through. And there's going to be lots of different paths. Like, to me, I'm kind of thinking this is like a choose your own adventure, right? Some people may find you first on social media. So kind of walk through that path of how that looks like. Oh, maybe they saw my link on the bio. Maybe they, found this extra little thing. Then they come to my website. Well, let's go through the experience of the website. Which page is really, grabbing your attention? What information is there? Do I have the freebie, popping up so it's really easy and engaging? Is it annoying? I don't know. Go through that experience. Then you might want to think about like, okay, what if my friend told you about what I do? Okay. Go through that experience again. Like, I go to the website, I check it all out. Oh, maybe. So just really breaking down what that customer experience is right now, and then maybe what you want it to be. I know for me, I don't have a long set of like an email sequence set up really nicely right now. So that's one of the things I will be kind of cleaning up and looking to, especially as I'm getting ready to make this runway and get that momentum and get everything going, is I want that experience ready and set. So when someone starts going through the process, it's not me scrambling going like, oh, did I send back that email? Oh, did this happen? Oh my goodness, I was supposed to provide that information. Like, I want it set and easy and like ready to go, but also very aware of what that experience is. I recently was doing registrations for my new program coming up, and I was super excited about it. And I realized that the response email I had to everyone once they registered was kind of meh. It was like, oh, thanks so much. I'll get back to you with more information. Like, it just wasn't the experience I wanted to provide. So I took some time, I sat down, I crafted a really thoughtful email that thanked them, provided them information, let them know the next steps, and just really gave more of the experience that I wanted to provide, right? I think sometimes as business owners, we get so busy and the little things that we're like, oh my God, we can't even keep up. But we always have to remember that, our customers feel that energy. If we're all over the place, they're not going to want to buy from us. I've been there. I've been emailing people back and forth and someone doesn't get back to me, or I don't get the information I need. I go to the next person. I go to the next business. So you want to make sure you know that experience that you want to provide and really walk through all the steps. And if there are pieces that you need to fix, this is the time to do it. This is that runway. This is the stuff we're getting all ready for. So when the momentum starts going, we will be ready for it. Okay, and number 7, probably the most important one again. I feel like I've told you they were all important. You got to be ready for the follow-up. So in all of these strategies, everything that I've shared with you today, so whether we're talking the freebie or connecting with our past customers or, creating a bonus or can't even forget what I said, your visibility ads or connecting with businesses or just making sure your experience is amazing, you need to be ready to follow up. And this goes back to what I was saying before of don't feel like you are bothering people. Don't feel like you are annoying, because I've been there, I've done that. I thought I was doing those things. So I was kind of like, oh, I'll stand off. But if you aren't following up, somebody else is. And we also are so used to this kind of back and forth. Like, I know there's times I send off an email or someone gives me information and I was like, I'll get back to it. So when they send me another email to remind me, I'm like, oh, thank you so much for reminding me. Yes, I'm interested in this. Let's chat or let's do this. But follow up, you need to be ready to be available, to answer the questions, to continue those conversations, to build those genuine connections. And that's not something you can do without time. It's not something you can do without putting effort into it. So that's why I said at the beginning of this, you are going to need to put time, you're going to put intention, you're going to put focus. You need to have that mindset ready of okay, I am in this. And that's why I feel like I know I'm getting ready for this season. I'm giving myself that runway. We're going to make it happen. But I also know I need that mindset shift of let's do this, because I know I need to be available. I need to do the follow-up. I need to, send another reminder, send another email, provide more value, whatever it may be. I need to be ready and committed to do the follow-up. Because the follow-up it's what's going to make the biggest difference in your business, right? Follow-up and doing what you said you were going to do. So if you're checking on something for somebody, you check in on something. If they're not sure about your business right now, I'll check in on 2 weeks. I'll check in again on a month, whatever it is, and whatever strategy or system you need so your follow-up is amazing. You do it, because that is going to be what makes your business really, really grow. Okay, friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I would love to hear from you. What strategy are you going to try and implement today? Out of the 7 I gave you of how to
I'm Gerald Bentley. This is Wrestling with Sales, and it's time to get hyped. We are joined by Dean Mojo Mutati, the head of the Paragon Talent Group. You see him on TMZ Sports, one of the hype bros from the WWE. Mojo, man, thanks for joining us here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me on today. I've been looking forward to this. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, and hey, I wanted to reach out to you because I started doing the podcast because I wanted to do something dealing with sales and get into sales training, and kind of in the spirit of the Talk is Jericho podcast, I realized as I get going, hey, I may as well just talk about stuff I like, because my viewers will probably like stuff I like. And pro wrestling, it's right there. It's in the name of the podcast. I got the dealership rescue belt here. We do the championship round at the end of every show, and I saw the Paragon Talent Group and realized that you were the co-founder of basically a sports agency for professional wrestlers, and just thought that was an amazing idea. What got you to start that?
The company kind of created itself, and there was just absolutely a tremendous need for this kind of work. Played in the NFL before WWE, and all kinds of representation there, from the players union to agents and managers and everything in between. And you get to wrestling, and there's almost none of that. Very, very few agents or managers, and anyone that does exist is primarily, for contractual reasons, not much marketing or anything like that going on. So I had a really nasty bout with COVID, and I knew my time with WWE was going to have to cease for a while, just because could barely breathe, let alone even think about competing.
Yeah.
And yeah, was kind of looking for what I was going to do next, and had this idea in my back pocket for quite some time, and thought it was time to finally get this thing started. So I called one of my best friends, Steve K, and pitched him on this idea, and I had like kind of this whole pitch mapped out for him. I think I got like 12 seconds into it before he was like, dude, this is great, I'm in. And Steve, big wrestling guy, had some experience on the managerial side in the business, but also comes from the brand side of the business, which was the other component to what we were doing. So it was a great fit, the yin to my yang kind of thing, and the company just blew up from the start.
Yeah, and you can follow you guys on the social medias. If you look up Paragon Talent Group on Instagram, you guys have a heavy presence on LinkedIn. And, I think it just makes so much sense, because when you look at other pro athletes, and I really believe it's time for professional wrestlers to be treated just like all the other pro athletes. The NFL, they have their players union, they have agents, they have IMG, which, we have one of the big IMG agents here where I'm at in Kansas City, the king of the quarterbacks. But, the wrestlers just haven't had that. They've pretty much been on their own. And I think with the birth of AEW, when that broke out, it kind of put competition back into pro wrestling on a big level in America. And since then, we've really seen a rebirth to where we're almost either at or above the level of interest from the Attitude Era, because now you have the WWE going with record attendance, with huge TV ratings. AEW is going to sell out Wembley Stadium. They just sold out an event in Toronto. Impact's going. I do a lot of stuff with Las Vegas wrestling. FSW and GCW just had a week's worth of shows in Las Vegas. I mean, it's everywhere now, and the opportunities are there. It's good that the wrestlers have a little bit of a voice and can get a little bit of a fair shake as they're going from, federation to federation.
Yeah, and I mean, I agree with you. It is one of the best times ever to be a professional wrestler right now. I mean, the birth of AEW was absolutely massive for the business, having another place to go where you can make a full-time salary and be on television and have a very, very competitive platform to perform. For a long time there, it was WWE as a one-stop shop, and it was either the indies trying to scratch together a living, or it was finding a way to get into WWE with almost nothing in between. So AEW has made everyone escalate their game, and I think it's just been better for the industry, not just for the wrestlers or for financially, but just for creative reasons as well. I mean, I think both brands are doing their best work in part because of the competition with the other.
Yeah, I mean, competition generally creates better results because you have to fight. You can't be complacent. You got to stay hyped up.
That's right, buddy.
Yeah, and you're also, I mean, people see you on TMZ Sports as well. So I mean, you're right there. You're staying in the public eye. So how are you managing the time between the TMZ Sports, working with Paragon Talent Group?
Oh man, it's been very busy. It's nonstop from the second I wake up to the second I go to bed. I wake up several times a night, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., whenever I actually get to sleep, just to check the phone, because, we're doing business with, Asia and the Middle East and Europe, and obviously completely different time zones here. So there's always work to be done at any point. And now with Paragon, since January 1st of 2022, we've done deals for over 150 wrestlers now. So, and it's been me and Steve, and we've been able to kind of partner up with a couple of other, just awesome people. Mac Brittenbaker, who connected us, has been awesome, a guy that was my boss at WWE. So it's really been cool to work with him on the outside. But yeah, I mean, I've got TMZ, which has been one of the most fun things I've ever done. I zoom in from wherever I am and I get to talk about sports, but also sports lifestyle topics, which is tremendous. And the TMZ family has just welcomed me with open arms, and I really love working with them. So that's a situation you'll see me do for a while. But I've been taking acting classes. I've been trying to find ways to better myself during this time period. I've been slowly getting back into the ring to shake off some rust, because I've been saying this is the year I got to take a match, man. I've been out of it. I wrestled my last match 3 years ago for WWE. Since then, I did one charity show, an event we put on called Dream Mania for the Down Syndrome Foundation.
Okay.
But that's been it. So no formal wrestling shows. So the itch needs to be scratched, and this is the year to get it done for sure.
Well, you're still right there in the prime wrestling age, because I mean, you look at some of the top pro wrestlers in the world. They're talking about Cody Rhodes being a younger wrestler. He's getting ready to turn 38. I think Kenny Omega's 37. Roman's in his late 30s. So you're right there. You got a few years to go.
Hey, man, with wrestling, you're as young as you feel, because obviously we got guys in their 50s that are still wrestling all the time. I mean, even guys older on the independents. So,
yeah,
I mean, business, you go until your body says you can't anymore, and then even then you just take a few years off and then come back later.
I was amazed seeing Billy Gunn, Daddy Ass, getting in the ring at 59 last week, and I mean, he looks amazing. It's incredible.
I don't know. He might look better now than he ever has. I feel like that dude is in incredible shape. I mean, he looks like he could go another 20 years, no problem.
Yeah. And, just so people may not know, I mean, you have an MBA and you were, I believe, an academic All-American. So there's some backing to this. You come at it from a couple of sides. You have the business background, and also had time in the NFL and in pro wrestling. So you can really kind of bridge the gap and help the wrestlers that are the sports entertainers that are with the Paragon Talent Group just kind of navigate the field, because you've seen it from all aspects.
That's why I thought I'd be a good guy for the job, having the business degrees, and then, working on, Wall Street for Morgan Stanley for ever since I was an 11-year-old kid, interning for my aunt. I always kind of business background, but then kind of seeing how operations were in football, in college, in the NFL, with representation and the things that those guys are able to produce outside of the gridiron. And then, having a 10-year run as a wrestler, knowing exactly what the talent are going through. And honestly, that's been maybe the most pivotal part here, is just being able to relate to all the wrestlers and know what they're going through and what they're looking for, and really how to package it all together to brand, to sell to third party vendors, for brand deals and sponsorships and all of these things. And it's been kind of funny, because within our company for Paragon, I don't really do anything with wrestling. Steve, as the non-wrestler, handles all the wrestling side. He handles the booking engagements and the signings and the meet and greet.
Okay.
And me, as the guy that was the athlete, I'm the one that handles the third-party deals, the outside brand deals and sponsorships and things like that, which of course is where he came from. So
that is weird.
We've figured out how to have voice for the other arena here, and it's actually been way more fun for us to switch it up here a little bit.
Yeah, well, with the background, it has to be fun to be able to do something that you've been able to be on the inside and say, oh man, somebody should do this. Somebody should do this. We should make this work. It's got to be a great sense of accomplishment to actually have the chance to do it. Because, I mean, heck, it's got to be a great time to reach out to companies now. All you have to do is go to a movie theater or turn on the TV. You're going to see The Rock. You're going to see John Cena. You're going to see Batista. Why not? Here's a Paragon Talent Group wrestler that's going to be making his comeback really soon. The Redeemer going to be returning to the TBS family of TV with AEW Collision, actually going to be on TNT June 17th, he's due to be back. We saw him walk into Tony Khan's office. Why not Miro?
Why not Miro is a really good question. I mean, that's a guy that just, the thing with wrestling is you play a character on television, and a lot of times you can be typecasted or pigeonholed into being this one thing and only this one thing. And I obviously can relate to that. I mean,
Sure.
it is kind of my life's mantra before, during, and after WWE, but there's a lot to me outside of just that energy. There's a lot to Miro outside of just being this guy who's an ass kicker, you know? Like, Miro is hilarious. Miro is highly marketable. His background alone makes him a surefire slam dunk for so many brands out there. His following is massive. He's always been a great merch guy. I mean, he checks so many boxes, you know, that brands wouldn't even know about if they just watched the television show and saw him doing this one thing. And, you know, that kind of goes for anybody. So that's, you know, kind of where we come in to have these conversations and make these brands see this from a completely different perspective. Because 95% of the calls that we do, the brand's knowledge of wrestling is that they used to watch when it was either Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold or someone like that. And they haven't watched recently. They know what it is, but they don't know enough about it. And they certainly don't know just the reach and the scope of the business. And that is the most applicable thing here when you're trying to conduct business, is just educating the consumer as to what they're getting.
Sure. Now, as a dealer, you spend a lot of time buying cars at auction. If you're using Edge Pipeline to manage your purchases, then this is big news. Montway Auto Transport has partnered with Auction Edge to add a transportation option onto Edge Pipeline. Now dealers can manage their auction buys and book transportation with just one click right in the Edge Pipeline platform. As a nationwide leader in auto transport, Montway understands a dealer's need for speed and efficiency and can arrange single or multi-vehicle moves from auction to any lot in the country. With Montway's technology, dealers can gain full transit visibility and tracking after an order has been booked, making it much easier to manage inventory. Buy, ship, and track all in Edge Pipeline. Go to www.montway.com/WS to learn more.
What they're getting.
Sure. Now, the success of current television, that has to help, I'd imagine, because, I mean, the audiences are getting back up there. You have a, $1 billion TV deal. WWE just merged with UFC. It's going to be TKO. That's going to be a massive entertainment company. And obviously AEW's continuing to push. New Japan making moves into the US. So I think any success, that rising tide lifting all the boats, it's going to help all the performers.
Yeah, absolutely. And wrestling, I guess it can be similar to other sports as well. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. If you watch wrestling at all, you can see how big the crowds are and the spectacles that all these shows are.
Sure.
With every wrestler being their own marketable brand that's not just domestic but international. I mean, it makes so much sense to work with one if you're aware of these things. So, we try to be the conduit for that. But yeah, there's just a lot of people that just don't know what these guys are capable of. So that's what we're doing. We're on these phones all day, every day. I think I average being on my cell phone 13 hours a day, my iPad 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day for my work laptop, and another hour on my other one. So it's like literally every waking moment of every day, there is a screen running at some point. Even if I'm in the gym or, in the car, there's a phone call going or something.
It's always coming.
It's crazy.
Now, are companies reaching out? I mean, I would imagine this is the goal. Companies reaching out to you saying, hey, we want somebody like this. Have you turned that corner where you're getting the companies like a DraftKings reaching out saying, maybe here, we want to be part of Renee Paquette's podcast. We want Renee to represent us because she does such a great job of setting the stage and creating the atmosphere. And, another part of AEW television just recently added on and part of your group. Will the companies reach out and specifically ask for a performer or a talent, or is it something where you're trying to find the match with the brand to the talent?
For the wrestling side of things, yeah, the promotions will reach out all the time about our guys. For the brand side of things, it's mostly us going to them. Again, they're just not as familiar with what wrestlers are capable of and how big the audience is and just how passionate and intense they are. It's unbelievable. But again, unless you watch wrestling, you have no idea what that audience looks like. So most of it is us reaching out to them. But Renee's a good example. We will have inbounds for talent like that, especially the ones with over 1 million followers. Because again, if you don't know wrestling, what you do know is what follower counts look like and viewership looks like on
Sure.
and whatnot. Renee is an incredible talent, one of the most just multi-talented people that we work with. I mean, everything that she's done in wrestling, outside of wrestling. I actually got I got a funny story for you. So
Yeah.
I brought on Renee to interview for TMZ Sports one day, and my relationship with the show is that I co-host the show with a guy named Michael Babcock, who I guess just to put a label on it, he's essentially the play-by-play commentator, and I'm the color commentator. So
Sure.
up the topics and he talks about what exactly is going on and kind of fills us in on all the details here, and then he kicks it over to me as like the former athlete's opinion as to what's going on, and then we get into a discussion from there. Well, we had on Renee one day, and she is so good at what she does at being that host, that moderator, essentially that play-by-play commentator. I actually put her into Babcock's role for her to talk about the topic and what was going on. I think it was an MMA topic, actually, of all things. And she teed me up to do my job before we got into our discussion on the topic. But it was hilarious. It's the only time we've ever done that with any guest since I've been with them, at least. And it's just a testament to how good Renee is. She didn't even need any prep time. She had no idea what we were going to be talking about that day. But she's awesome. Massive following, just so personable. Now she's a mom and she's juggling all these things. I mean, my goodness, it has been incredible. And to your point about working with the DraftKings, who several of our talent have at this point, those relationships have gone so well. And DraftKings is a good example where, initially we started out, we were like, hey, just book our guys on, a one-off. Just a little teaser, a little trial run here, and just if you're not happy with how it goes, no hard feelings. There's plenty of other people to talk to, and we've had so many deals that led to annual relationships because of that. Because not only do they love the engagement and the reach that the wrestlers have, but the promo ability. You got to remember, too, wrestlers, yes, everyone can cut a promo. Even the guys that you think never get the mic or not on TV. They have a job for a reason. It's because they're that good. And when you compare those people to athletes of other sports, it is a no-brainer decision. I mean,
as a dealer, you spend a lot of time buying cars at auction. If you're using Edge Pipeline to manage your purchases, then this is big news. Montway Auto Transport has partnered with Auction Edge to add a transportation option onto Edge Pipeline. Now dealers can manage their auction buys and book transportation with just one click right in the Edge Pipeline platform. As a nationwide leader in auto transport, Montway understands a dealer's need for speed and efficiency and can arrange single or multi-vehicle moves from auction to any lot in the country. With Montway's technology, dealers can gain full transit visibility and tracking after an order has been booked, making it much easier to manage inventory. Buy, ship, and track all in Edge Pipeline. Go to www.montway.com/WS to learn more.
Because they were good athletes. And, just because they're a Pro Bowler or, a Super Bowl winner, it doesn't mean that they're entertaining, that they can go out there and really entertain and reach their audience. All of our guys can. So it always serves for a perfect combination.
That's true. It's a huge difference because you've seen the celebrity mail-it-in endorsements for local advertising for years, where you have, I'm John Smith, defensive tackle for the team, and I get my car from Hometown Ford.
Yes.
You should too. I mean, that does nothing.
It's
But
so bad.
You're not going to get that from a wrestler, because the wrestlers who are working in a promotion, like I said, even if they're not on TV, they started at independence and they were practicing promos and practicing little match announcements and interviews, probably in a mirror or with their friends, for years. They're just waiting to go. All you need to do is tell them, hey, here's the topic. You got 30 seconds, go.
And that's kind of one of our selling points when we're doing our meetings here. And I typically compare it to the NFL because that's where I came from, and I that sport better than obviously the NBA or MLS or anyone else. But when you're talking about football, how many people can name the starting offensive guard for the Seattle Seahawks? The offensive tackle for the San Francisco 49ers. Not many. There's only a handful of players in any league that are household names. Then you take all those guys that are the perennial Pro Bowlers. How many of those guys are entertaining? How many of them have an immediately identifiable persona or character, like a Rob Gronkowski? I always use that example, not only because he's a good friend, but because he is a marketable character.
Yeah.
And out of those guys, how many of them aren't making $10 to $50 million a season? Probably none, maybe enough to count on one hand. Whereas with wrestling, everyone is more affordable. They have immediately identifiable international personas that can market to a crowd, that can public speak. The fans know their taglines, their movesets, their colors, their wrestling history, yada, yada, yada. The list goes on.
Sure.
And they just deliver a better product. So it all kind of goes into the pitch. And once these brands are able to kind of break that down and hear that, and then see the results that we've been able to create, it usually ends up working out quite well in the end.
Yeah, and you have all those connections and the storylines, because you get the soap opera type feel of it too, that works in there. A couple other people that are part of the Paragon Talent Group. CJ Perry, Ms. Miro.
Yeah,
I mean, she's a talent that I think is just waiting to get that big breakout, because there's fans. I've gone to multiple AEW events, and people in the stands are saying, oh, she's coming out now. Here she comes. And doing nothing. She's got fans in an arena, thousands of people in an arena captivated to see her, to see what she's doing, because Miro referenced his God in his Redeemer promos, and people immediately assumed, oh, it's her. Well, she didn't even have to be there. She didn't have to do anything, and people are excited to see her.
Well, look, you said you're waiting for CJ to boom. The thing is you don't know where that's going to be. That could be in wrestling. That could be in Hollywood. That could be
acting. Sure.
I mean, CJ's been in a Bruce Willis movie. She has many acting credits. She is in acting classes regularly. I mean, her social media following is one of the biggest in anywhere. It's huge. And not only that, she understands the social media algorithms better than maybe anybody that I know. When we do deals for CJ, and we've done, a bunch of them, we let CJ kind of control the cadence of the post and the timing and all of these things. And, the brand might have some guidelines or requirements that we have to hit, but we always tell them, like, as far as creative and some of the specifics here, just let CJ do her thing. We don't want to cap her. She understands this way better than we ever will. So just let her do it. And it's boomed because of it. We've had some very, very satisfied brands that we've worked with because, they've done deals with her that did 1 million views when they're used to only 5,000 at best, if not 1,000.
Well, and the great thing is, for coming from a company's perspective, that's all trackable.
Yeah.
It's not like it used to be when you used to do advertising. Back when I did morning drive radio, and you'd sell advertising, and they'd go, well, you see, you have to advertise because you need to build up your name recognition, and it's not really trackable. You just create that image, and then people will come in. Not the case now. Now everything's trackable. So, I mean, if you're a company, you contract with Paragon Talent Group, you get CJ to do some social media influencer post for you, tomorrow the impact of it. It's great. I mean, from a company perspective, it's tremendous to be able to have actual measurable analytic advertising data.
Yeah, and that's, one thing we do when we get to that point is we just sit down with the brand and break down exactly what they're trying to get to. And one thing we pride ourselves on is just brutal honesty. We are wide open, about everything when we're talking with the brand, just letting them know what this campaign will produce, managing expectations. I mean, we literally did a deal with one company who in the beginning thought one Instagram story would lead to 50,000 unique sales. It's like, all right,
No, that's a little bit much.
buddy, as much as I would love to take your money right now and give it to, some of our talent here, let's make sure you understand how this game works. I don't think a person on the planet could post one Instagram story and have it definitely yield 50,000 unique sales. Unless there was some sort of unique hook attached to it, but yeah, it's just kind of letting them know about what's trackable, what's not trackable, the impact you're going to have, not only it's just this social media post or this appearance, but it's the talent that you're working with and having their name tied to what you're working on. It's a legitimate, celebrity that can market what you're doing here, the value of having them maybe on your website and all these things, because not everything you can slap a promo code on. Obviously that's easy to track that, but having someone associated with your brand, being able to add their list when you're looking for investments for your next round of funding, all of these things, there's just so much value that our people can have. And we've sent our people into boardroom meetings and end of the year corporate retreats and some very, very unique campaigns just to show a little star power and have a little fun, put the CEO to a table or something fun like that.
That would be fun.
Really creative with what we're doing here. And again, it just comes from having those conversations up front to see what the brand is trying to get out of this, and finding the best path to do that.
And it's a very, like you said, a very diverse group and a lot of people that even if the person doesn't exactly who they are, just at a glance, looking at the name on paper, when they see them, they know that it may be an irresistible force coming. Because have a member of the bloodline family here, Lena Finet, and she's there. She's part of the Paragon Talent Group too, and a very interesting person. I've had a chance to listen to a couple of interviews she's done. One of them with Renee on her show, The Sessions, and another great person to have on there to just express whatever message your company is trying to send.
Absolutely. Lena is one of the most perfect spokeswomen you could possibly ask for. One of my personal favorite people on the planet, definitely my favorite person ever to film TikToks with and social media posts goofing around. We've done a lot of those over the past couple of years, but man, she is awesome. Everyone that's ever worked with Lena has absolutely loved working with Lena. She is one that, we've done a ton of social media deals with. Obviously, she has an incredible following, but man, she is one we really, really try to push to get in front of somebody, to have a brand or, actually sit down, talk with her, meet their people, their employees, their customers. She is somebody that you want out there doing meet and greets and getting to know them. She is just incredibly intelligent and knowledgeable of any product she's talking to. She does the homework when she's going in to do a job, which is important. A lot of people will show up and, especially athletes of other sports, they'll show up, not even know who they're filming or shooting with that day or meeting with, and they have no idea what they're talking about. Lena always comes prepared and she's ready to go. And people love sitting there and talking with her and getting to know her. She's just so fun. She's been one of our clients that's produce the most amount of deals. She's been awesome. I love her to death.
Now, we only had a short period of time, but there's a lot more wrestlers, sports entertainers that are under the Paragon Talent Group banner. How many are you representing now? Just ballpark.
Yeah, since 2022, we've done deals for over 150 so far. Steve and I, we started this thing, and I think we were eyeballing start with around 10 to 20 clients. Really, we just wanted to focus in on a small group, not bite off more than we could chew, and kind of get our feet wet. But I think starting at 10 lasted about a week. I mean, business booming, and we were able to bring in a lot of work. I think last year, somewhere around 10 talent, we made them more money than they made in their best year with WWE, just by being able to capitalize on who they are in their NIL and going out and doing third-party deals, myself included for that list. But it was just, I think, a testament to what everybody can bring to the table. Not only these guys, but just the entire industry as a whole. They're just incredibly marketable and talented. It's not many people could handle being a pro wrestler, especially on a television show, getting a script 5 seconds before you walk through the curtain and, being expected to recite it perfectly. But
on live national TV in front of 20,000 people in the arena. Yeah.
Yes. Booing and cheering and throwing you off maybe the cadence or rhythm that you had playing in your head, and improvising and all these things, time additions, time subtractions, and having to, react on the fly and just figure it out. Not a lot of people can handle that. Most people can't handle that. So it's a tough job. People sometimes overlook that aspect of it. But yeah, man, we've done deals for over 150. We just got to the point where we wanted to help as many people as we could. And, if we have a deal that comes across that makes sense, for a talent in particular that we don't necessarily represent, luckily I wrestled with most of these people over the past years, so I can just text them, call them, DM them, whatever it might be, and just kind of float an offer. Some people have exclusive representation that they work with, but most people, if they do have representation, it's not all encompassing. They have representation in certain categories, and others are wide open. Usually marketing, which is where we kind of specialize here. So it's been interesting.
Hey, kind of winding down, go to the championship round. So here you go, Mojo, the dealership rescue championship belt for you. Just a couple of quick questions in the champions round here.
All right.
What wrestling event are you looking the most forward to this year?
Oh, this whole year? Oh my goodness.
Coming up the rest of the year.
The rest of the year, it's June. Well, I mean, I got to say, the next big event is AEW at Wembley, right? That's going to be insane. I can't wait.
I would say so, yeah.
The fact that, someone other than WWE has been able to sell that many tickets, not just domestic, but internationally, is just an incredible testament to them. And I got to say, one thing that I've loved about that event is how the wrestlers have come together to promote it. Everyone's gone the extra mile in interviews on social media to really try and push and drive that show and support it, and not just show up and collect a payday and focus on their individual match. It's focusing on the whole card, the whole brand, the whole team, and I've loved to see it.
How do you feel about the growth of professional wrestling on YouTube and just online channels? Because it's everywhere now. There's independent wrestling everywhere.
It's been great, man. It's another avenue for guys to get their name out there, to go out there and actually have your hard work rewarded. I mean, for such a long time, if you weren't with one of the bigs, your work went unnoticed, and you had to hope you wrestled long enough to try and get a call that led to 8 more calls before you could finally have that first tryout or audition. I mean, now you can just have one really good day, and that might get you an opportunity. I love that. And that's producing a lot of talent that probably we would have never been able to see. So it's been awesome. I think it's going to continue to grow. I think it's been awesome for the outside world to see those numbers, to see those viewership numbers and the analytics behind it. and just be shocked and stunned at how massive the scope of wrestling is. It's been awesome for everybody.
And just one final one, since you're always hyped, what would be your best piece of advice to somebody working in sales to stay hyped through the day, even when they may be a little bit down, they may be a little bit frustrated, feel like, oh man, it's not going our way, we're not getting the customers in? How do you stay hyped throughout the day?
Well, hey man, if you want to be successful, you got no other choice. You have to stay hyped. I mean, that's how stay hyped started for me, knowing how much competition was out there, from always being the last recruited guy on the team, the walk-on, the undrafted guy, the guy nobody wanted. You got no choice but to stay hyped if you want to make some of yourself. And I can absolutely attribute any of my success to that philosophy and mindset, or else I wouldn't have made it out of high school. We won 4 games in 4 years. Nobody wanted to talk to us, but we had to stay and figure out how to get it done and get our name out there and work harder than everybody else. And, you just never know when that next big sale, that next big deal, that next big opportunity is coming. You got to stay hyped. It's going to be quiet. You're going to have lulls. You're going to have down periods for days, weeks, months on end. But if you just maintain the faith, it's going to boom eventually. We certainly had that with Paragon, weeks, months, where it's like, man, it's so slow. And then boom, $1 million deal, one that gets back on your feet, and then one leads to another and another, and all those leads and, feelers that you put out there, they all seem to come together at the same time. So, hey man, you got to give it your best every second, every day. Cause if you won't, 1 million other people will.
Yeah. You got to keep grinding. That's what got me through breaking my back in junior high and 13 knee surgeries to get to college on a scholarship. So yeah, absolutely. You got to keep grinding away. Can't stop.
There it is, buddy.
Hey, Mojo, thanks a lot. And you can catch him on TMZ Sports, and go to the website right there, theparagontg.com, to find out about some of the great talent that Paragon Talent Group has. Catch AEW Collision. We see Miro and Andrade El Idolo make their return, part of the Paragon Talent Group as well. Thanks for stepping in the ring on Wrestling with Sales. Appreciate it.
My man, thanks for having me, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you.